Omain be Omain. First of all, I'd like to thank Yahuwah for giving us that great victory last night with our son.
Yes, praise Yah.
All right, I'm Moray, David Price. In Hebrew, my name is pronounced Daoud Price.
Carol Price.
My Ishe, my wife. Praise Yahuwah for her. But we're not even celebrating our victory. We are excited because today begins our first day of celebrating Yom Teruah, which is the Day of Trumpets. In Leviticus chapter 23, verse 24, Yahuwah instructed us to celebrate the Day of Trumpets. Read it for yourself. And it is supposed to be Le'olam Ba'ed. That means forever and ever. So in Christianity, I know, it doesn't make sense because we understand this to mean that the Old Testament is done away with. Le'olam Ba'ed. That's forever. We'll be doing this even in New Jerusalem. Even once the Messiah comes, we will be blowing the trumpets. We will be doing the Moedims. They are the appointed times. So I'm excited. How about you, honey?
I'm excited too.
So we have for the Day of Trumpets, praise Yahuwah, we have our trumpets. So we'll be blowing our trumpets. This is my first time blowing. I'm going to work on it. We also have our shofars. We'll be blowing our shofars. We'll be celebrating. In verse 25, it tells us that this is a day of rest. We're not supposed to do any work, but it's not a punishment. This is a day of celebration. Like you guys just celebrated Independence Day. You celebrated Labor Day. We get to celebrate Yom Teruah. And then Yahuwah's days. Those are the Moedims. Those are the feast days and the appointed times. It tells us when to do so. And then on the 19th, we get to celebrate the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. We don't refer to tonight and tomorrow as what you might hear some
Rosh Hashanah.
Right, Rosh Hashanah. That's the incorrect term. Yahuwah tells you exactly what it's called. It's called the Day of Trumpets, and that's Yom Teruah. The name Rosh Hashanah came as they were taken captive in Babylon. That was also the Babylonian New Year was at the same time. And the Jews began to worship and say, well, we're going to call this our New Year. And they changed it from Yom Teruah to Rosh Hashanah. So that is, once again, that Babylonian influence that is coming to the Jewish faith. We don't refer to it as Rosh Hashanah. We refer to it as what Yahuwah calls it. And that is Yom Teruah. So I can't wait. Tomorrow we're going to throw some stuff on the grill. Me and my baby going to have some of our Hebrew brothers and sisters over. We're going to have a great time. I pray that you guys begin to open your eyes. Not to what the pastor said, not to what the theologians taught you. I was in all kinds of...
What the Bible says.
What does the Bible
What does
say?
the Bible say?
Not what does pastor so-and-so.
Not traditions, not what your grandmama and your great-great-grandmama taught your grandmama. Learn it for yourself.
That's right. What days you worship, what do you eat? All of that the Bible clearly says when we're supposed to do it and how we're supposed to do it. So, I know this is strange to some of you because we've been doing it wrong for so long. When it tells us to do the Moedim, it tells us for a reason. When Yahusha said that he was coming back, you know him as Jesus. When the Messiah said he was coming back, 1 Corinthians 15:52, it tells us exactly what's going to happen. And we believe this is going to happen on the Moedim of the Day of Trumpets, Yom Teruah. Can you read that for me, please? 1 Corinthians.
In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible.
Can't blow it. He said, and at that appointed time, the trump shall sound. He's given us the Moedim because he always moves during the Moedim. When he came and offered his life as a sacrifice, he came on the first Moedim, which is the Passover. When he rose from the dead, he rose from the dead 3 days later. Well, the Bible already tells us what happens on 3 days later. You are to bring your sheaf offering or your first fruit offering. The first fruit was Yahusha as he offered himself as a first fruit for us. And then 49 days later, plus one, we refer to it in Christianity as the day of Pentecost. That is the day of Shavuot, where they celebrate the giving of the law. Once again, that's when the Holy Spirit comes. Tonight, Sunday, sunset, until Monday, sunset, is the day that Leviticus chapter 23, verse 24 tells us that we are to celebrate this Moedim. He said that we're supposed to do so on the first day of the 7th month. In Leviticus chapter 23, it tells us to celebrate Yom Teruah. And then on the 10th day of the 7th month, it tells us to celebrate the Day of Atonement. But why do we celebrate this as the 7th month? Because in the Roman Greco calendar, there were 2 months added to the year. That was what months?
August.
And July. That's right. And it was named after whom?
Augustine and Julius Caesar.
Augustus,
I'm sorry.
And Julius Caesar. So 2 more months were added. That's why September, October is octagon. That's 8. And then December, that's the DEC. That's the decimal for 10. Those are the 10th months. But we celebrate them as the 12th months. And, of course, the 7th month appears to be the 9th month. But the 7th month in Yahuwah calendar is September. And we have to wait till the first sliver of the moon to tell us the first of the month. And this is when we celebrate tonight, sunset, until Monday sunset, the day of Yom Teruah. Let me see you blow it, honey. Give it a shot. She gonna work on it. I'm gonna work on it, but we gonna have some fun working on it together.